Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the Superstars of Wrestling review series for the 31st of October 1987, so Halloween 87 edition. We are moving quickly through these. We have Demolition and Brady Boone and Scott Casey. Demolition, of course, relatively new to the promotion right around the WrestleMania time, so they've been there about 6 months, maybe a little less. And certainly that has been a positive experience for the wonder that is the team of Demolition here. Basic things, of course, Demolition been around a little while. Mr. Fuji with them. Scott Casey and Brady Boone, they are not by any stretch of the imagination major forces, but at the same time, major enough that you're gaining momentum. Of course, you got to remember by April of the following year, Demolition gone through nearly every team and goes on to win the tag team championships for over a year. It's just interesting that you can even see here, while Vince may not have known that he was going to take people in that direction. Punch kick by Axe and Smash in the match itself, by the way, but while he didn't necessarily know he was going to take them in that direction, the idea to build around Demolition as a concept was here. Billy Jack Haynes up with an inset promo as he's planning to do battle with Demolition in upcoming house show matches. Then we go to Axe and Smash going at it pretty aggressively, assertively on a consistent basis here, and trying to cut things off. Brady Boone comes in, bunches of drop kicks. He had not been a major force in the promotion at the time, although I think Brady Boone always could have been a little bit more actually going for the head scissors and not getting everything he wants. Hitting a kind of a stun gun like maneuver instead. Boone and Casey end up falling to the Demolition decapitation device, the DDD, here in that run, and there we go. We move to the Event Center style promos, which I did, or it's actually Special Report. Event Center hadn't quite started quite yet. Special Report with Craig DeGeorge. Craig DeGeorge here for a little bit longer, probably through early 88. Sean Mooney replaces him not soon thereafter, though, in early 88. A confrontation between Jim Duggan and Harley Race is the main focus of this particular segment. Duggan steals the crown of Race, and they end up brawling along the way. Sam Houston, aka the brother of Jake the Snake Roberts, is up next, facing off against Danny Davis. Houston, a guy who had been in the NWA up until this point, also a guy who might have been a little bit better if he had some degree of harder, I guess, more muscle on him, whatever. He hits a couple of punch kicks, basic stuff, nothing to write home about, but also Danny Davis, former referee there, and Jimmy Hart with Danny Davis, bulldogged by the wonder that is Sam Houston, and he's kind of dancing around and playing pretty basic. Anyway, we get a Honky Tonk Man promo next. He kind of is talking about going after Randy Savage. Randy Savage and the Honky Tonk Man, especially in October, going to have a match in the Boston Garden. Boston Garden, a major monthly stop for the WWF. This time they're about 12 or 13 times a year. Stevie Aoki and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. DiBiase, having been in since the summer of 87, still with Virgil. Stevie Aoki, an Islander knockoff, for lack of a better term, that was brought in great part because of the need for a replacement even 2 years later for Superfly Snuka. Doesn't take off the way that it's planned, although both Haku and DiBiase were treated like they could have been replacements at one point or another. DiBiase slides to the outside after taking a bunch of drop kicks, arm drags, and the like. DiBiase is super focused at the time. Cool thing there. DiBiase also managing to get a back elbow, among other things. Super basic, and DiBiase in control of the way the match maps out here. DiBiase also managing kind of to step through, doing a modified Scorpion Deathlock, aka Sharpshooter, at one point in the contest, and a victory for him. Jake Roberts wants to get his hands on the Honky Tonk Man, talking about bringing things to Boston. The Snake is unstoppable. The Snake is pretty intense, to say the very least. And Jake Roberts, obviously a happy guy. Mr. Fuji with Killer Khan. Killer Khan still here in the later part of 1987. Thought he'd already left, but still doing the roundabouts with Hogan in a few small towns. The Pile Driver music video, a pretty major deal. Then we go to an interview, podium interview about the Survivor Series and the elimination. When we've talked about this in other videos, I actually think the Wrestling Challenges here of the same day in my archive, 2,400 strong, by the way. But that's there, and the idea that the Heenan family and other members of the heel main event team going to eliminate Hulkamania and Hulk Hogan once and for all. Junkyard Dog versus Bob Orton. And then ultimately, there we go. There is a battle royal here. We're not really going to go there. Junkyard Dog, Bob Orton, One Man Gang, Ultimate Warrior, Hercules, Bam Bam Bigelow, Don Morocco, Outback Jack, the Bolsheviks are all in the battle royal. Battle royal just here to kill time, although they are in the midst of the sweepstakes season right around late October, early November. Junkyard Dog sends the man over, and the idea of the Battle Royal, we're not going to go through the great details there. Obviously, Battle Royals are all pretty basic. Orton and Hercules against Bam Bam Bigelow is how it pairs off. Bigelow getting the major push at the time, trying to get him up with Hogan, and in that echelon, Bigelow getting a victory. Of course, Bigelow also having Sherlock Oliver Humperdinck alongside for him to be able to have half a clue there, and Bigelow showing agility, cartwheels, and the like. Then we move to the last in the series of matches, the Shadow number 2 against Randy Macho Man Savage. The Shadow is nothing more than a enhancement talent. Savage, having completed his babyface run or completed his babyface turn right around this time. Savage with a couple of hard shots, and then manages the body slam, the neck snap back, and then the elbow drop from the top. Tito Santana, Rick Martel, Strike Force have formulated here. Strike Force, relatively new. Santana also looking for an opportunity to get back to some sense of, forward motion with the Strike Force tag team. They are talking about striking of force, just really goofy promos. Danny Davis going to face off against Brutus the Barber Beefcake, and Outlaw Ron Bass going to face off against him too. Bobby Heenan is doing a good bit of hype for promos, and the Islanders talking about getting rid of the British Bulldogs once and for all here in 1987. We're going to close out with that. We will be back with more right after this.